What's up, y'all? We're here for Frack the Console. I got CJ today. How you doing, sir?
I am wonderful. Pleasure to see you.
Pleasure to see you. And we got Renee. Renee, how you doing?
Guten Tag, my friend. I don't know why I went German. Hi, nice to be here.
Ach, ich liebe dich, mein
I have
Fräulein.
no idea what that means, but
Because I love you, my woman
oh, is
friend.
that for... I wait for that.
That is actually hilarious.
That is that's actually hilarious.
uh, all right, so we're going to talk about the Switch 2,
F
and
yeah. All right.
yeah, um, and its beautifulness. They sent a trailer highlighting it, so we're just gonna jump into it and look at it together. Hang with me while I set up this um, screen situation. Oh,
Yeah, give me that ASMR.
oh, a stand!
Yeah, dude, that's so much better. Like I bought a third party stand for my other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially gosh. Yeah,
Yeah, this music.
oh! Yay! Wow.
Never yet. Never.
Yeah. All right, a new Mario Kart finally.
Oh man, I was like, can they stop trying to tell us to play Mario Kart for the last two generations with this?
Yeah, it was like a full decade.
Yeah.
Like
Has it really
Mario
been
Kart
that
8.
long?
Wow.
Yeah, like, dude, Mario Kart 8 is like the best-selling game on the Wii U and the Switch.
Oh, it comes out April.
No, no,
Nintendo
that
Direct.
that
The
is the
Nintendo
Nintendo
Direct.
Direct that comes out in
Right.
April. So, you know,
So we still don't have a release date?
we still don't have a release date. It's just like I feel like there were a lot of like leaks and stuff like around, you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like they really just had to put this trailer out, like, and maybe they were already planning to tell us on like 4/2, 25 or whenever that direct is. Maybe they're gonna planning to tell us then, you know? And really do like a big kind of like blowout. But like, I feel like maybe they felt like their hand was forced, and they just kind of had to be like, all right, guys, like freaking, yeah, it's a thing. Like, we know you've been hearing about this, like, but like, here it is, like. Anything that stand out to you, Trey? Like I have seen this trailer before. Like obviously, you can tell why I was talking like doing it because like I freaking well, yeah, I've been stoked about this system. You know what I mean? And like waiting on like the announcement or whatever. Like just because like I still play my Switch. Like not as much as I play my Xbox, but like there are games like lately that like they've really been cooking in the development like lab over at Nintendo. Like you know what I mean, and their gameplay is like kind of like top tier. Like as far as like the three big companies go, like I've always felt like. But lately, like I feel like their games are outgrowing the hardware that is the Switch.
Yeah.
Like, and they just don't run well. Like
Mm-mm.
because like the ideas are getting bigger, but like the hardware was limiting them, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
like especially like as a big Pokemon fan, the last two Pokemon games like have been bangers, only limited by the Switch's performance. You know what I mean? Like otherwise
Mm.
they'd have been like a 10 out of 10. And that's what I'm like waiting for. Like give me that next Pokemon on Switch too. Like but anyways, Tyler, like what are your thoughts on this coming out of the gate?
Yeah, a lot of what you're saying. Exactly that. Even a lot of the new Mario games have just been short. Like I forget the name of the new Mario one where you can play as four and everything.
Wonder.
Yeah, Mario Wonder. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the great mechanics. You know, that looks great, great gameplay, but it's short, and that's the workaround that Nintendo's been doing to squeeze it all in. And it's like, man, I miss like in my opinion, one of the best games ever made. Just like Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild. Um, and I like it. Just felt like Tears of the Kingdom was less of a game. It had all these new mechanics, but it just felt shorter, felt less full, and that's might be why I didn't even think about performance. But what stood out to me is just the the controllers doing this now instead of doing this. Like this thing, like I always remember like having parties at the house and it's like, oh yeah, no, here's your Switch Joy-Con or whatever, and they can never like figure it out, and it's always like 10 minutes of like, oh, let's get all your controllers connected. So happy that's the thing. And the stand is such a like a thing, like the one little peg thing never worked. Um and the feature of Switch has where you can like bring it to someone's house without even a TV and you could just like, all right, everyone, we're gonna play. Now that's solved, um, and that's great. Um, Renee, you're the outlier here. uh,
I don't know what I'm looking at. So what is up with those little two pads things? Like those little two controllers connected? Like how does that work? The screen is. I'm confused by that. And where do you put in the game cartridge?
Yeah, so pretty much like what made the Switch like super popular and like is that it's like kind of like a two-in-one console. Like Nintendo's always made like the home console, and then they branched off and they kind of created the design like the mobile gaming console as well. So they had like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, but they also had like Game Boy and Nintendo DS and Nintendo 3DS, you know what I mean? And so like you get all the way evolved, blah blah blah. We're at the Switch now. Switch combined both of those things, right? So like there's this dock situation thing where you can just you plop your Switch in there and you're playing it on TV like a console, like whatever, right? And then you can also remove it from this dock thing and you can play it like you could just take it with you. So you just have your system, you know what I mean? Imagine having your playing your PlayStation. It's not as as powerful as a PlayStation, but imagine you're playing your PlayStation, you know what I mean? You're knee deep in a Spider-Man sandwich, and then you gotta freaking like bug out, but you want to like continue on your lunch break or whatever. So you just take, you know what I mean, a mobile version of this with you, and then you can just like play it like, you know what I mean, at work or on an airplane or like or something like that. And that's what made the Switch so awesome. So and that's Nintendo always does something pretty innovative, but like that's what's had them sitting pretty for the last, what, 7, 8 years, however long the Switch has been, and this is the next version of that. Like in many ways, like, people have been waiting with bated breath because Nintendo makes weird decisions, you know what I mean? Like, and everybody's been super happy with what they did with the Switch, so it's like it was anyone's guess what the next system was going to be. Everyone kind of hoped it was just a more powerful version of the Switch, but Nintendo likes to be innovative. You know what I mean? That's like one thing they like to do. They don't like to, it's not often that they want to just give you a more powerful version of the thing that they just did. You know what I mean? Like, they want to come out and they want to kind of like change your mind a little bit about something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. This is the weird thing about Nintendo. What you is said it perfectly explains Nintendo. Nintendo went from the GameCube, which was tried and true. A lot of people played it. We thought it would be awesome to the Nintendo Switch, and it's a completely different gameplay. And a lot of people were not happy with it, but the Switch outsold the GameCube. Uh,
yeah.
and
Well,
so
but think about what
yeah,
was but think about what was
yeah,
in between that, right? They went from
right.
the GameCube to
Oh,
the
I
Wii
forgot.
to the
Yeah,
Wii.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I said Switch because we're talking
Oh,
about Switch. The Wii,
yeah.
yeah, the Wii, yeah, yeah. This
Yeah.
one, the
Yeah.
Wii. I misspoke. Sorry, everyone. Uh, but I think I saw a new port on it. So I'm as we're speaking, I'm trying to look up to find out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is both there's another USB-C port. There's one on top now as
Okay.
well.
And what's that
Uh,
one for?
we don't know yet. There's a lot of speculation flying around online, you know what I mean? People are hoping that like it has the same functionality as the bottom one, right? Like so maybe you could connect to like some kind of third party like dongle to in lieu of the dock, you know what I mean? Like maybe you could uh
Stream.
or
Sorry. Yeah,
yeah.
stream. You can plug it into a computer if you want to do like a Twitch situation. Like you could Twitch with
Mm.
your Switch now.
Twitch with Switch. Um, that'd be that'd be awesome. But one of the things that people have been speculating on, so there's that moment in the trailer where the Joy-Cons, if that's what they're calling them, come off. They go into like a little apparatus and they kind of race across the ground. Um, when you're like when they're pulling out the Joy-Con and it's like filling out that part of the trailer, one of the things you can kind of see is like kind of like a little IR scanner looking thingy. So like people are speculating that there might be fu mouse functionality to these Joy-Cons here.
Wow, that'd be great.
Um, and again, that's just speculation, but like it's just thoughts based on like what they're showing us, and which isn't much, but like they did kind of show us like going into a little thing and then kind of like racing across the thing, and it's like, why would they show us that? Why does it do that? You know what I mean? Like, I
Mm.
don't know. Mouse functionality, like there are a lot of games, you know what I mean? Like PC ports are becoming more and more like prevalent, you know what I mean? If something like Baldur's Gate 3 or something like was on Switch 2 and you could use a mouse, like, you know what I mean? That would be cool.
Well, that does make sense because at the moment, probably Nintendo Switch's biggest competitor is the Steam Deck because it's a
Yeah.
handheld where you can play PC games and you can plug mice into them. Um, so there's a lot of people who get a Steam Deck to play a shooter on their TV and they get mice and keyboard to play with it. So
Mhm.
if a Switch, because that was always Nintendo, at least since probably Xbox and PlayStation 2 came out, the biggest Nintendo competitor or downfall of Nintendo has been shooters.
Mm.
And just what happens on all these other consoles, that's where all the shooters are. So if you can get like a Joy-Con to work like a mouse, you've solved that problem. Um, you just need like a keyboard sort of thing if you're gonna do the Steam Deck thing. That's super interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, just speculation right now, but who
yeah.
knows? We'll all find out on, April 2nd, of course. And then like the next biggest news of this trailer, Mario Kart 9, of course.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like the fact that we're finally, yeah, after like, who knows, 15 years, I don't know, a long time, like getting a new Mario Kart number one. But that's also the first game that they're showing. I mean, like I said, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best-selling Nintendo game of the last two generations right now. So
Yeah,
like,
they really pump it.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so a new one, like, I mean, you can't have a worse decision, and it's got Mario, and it's got your mascot on it. Um, so it's what I mean. It's just anyone's game. I do wonder if we plan, and maybe they're saving it for a holiday because what I mean. It's just young 2025 right now, and they are launching a system. But I do wonder. It's like it's a new Nintendo system. Are we not gonna get a Mario game? You know what I mean? Like, not that I
It's
even
true.
care that much, but like to be honest, but like are
Yeah.
we not gonna get a Mario?
Have they ever
Yeah.
remade the original Mario Brothers? It's like into like I know they kind of redid with the DS, kinda, but not really.
Like, no, a remake is an interesting word though in like development, you know what I mean? Like you could maybe think of any Mario game as a reimagination of the other one because there's not Mario doesn't necessarily like follow like a set timeline or story. It's just
Right.
really just kind of like each Mario game is just kind of like its own doing its own thing, but each Mario game is really kind of trying to like innovate in some ways and be really just like kind of a unique experience, you know what I mean, unto itself, and like really kind of like giving you a cool adventure with the hardware that it like has at its disposal, you know what I mean? That's like one thing Nintendo's always like really trying to do is like really push the limits of just like fun and like I don't know how to word this, funly challenging, like kind of.
Yeah, innovative. You were saying it
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah.
It's just like innovative like gameplay, and that's really like their whole shtick. And like Mario is like their games are really just kind of like a almost like a personification of that idea of their ideal behind like game making. You know what I mean? Like so, it's really just kind of like a tour de force of like what the system can do.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Just like via their mascot kind of.
Famously, Mario 64 launched alongside N64, and people's minds were completely blown by the capabilities of the game. And it's a still super duper great game. It technically wasn't a remake, but it's called Mario 64. And then they did it again with, other things. GameCube had one with where he was watering plants and stuff, and
Sunshine.
Super
Yeah.
Mario Sunshine. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But we've been talking about capabilities a lot. I was doing a little research, and I came across. I'm going to share my screen real quick. This is we're talking about GameCube. How many GameCubes of performance is each game? And just the original Switch is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That makes 10, 20, 30, 40. So the original Switch when it came out was like 41 and a half GameCubes. And the Switch 2, and this is interesting. Uh, so apparently the Switch 2 undocked is about half as powerful as it is docked. So will there be games that you will not be able to play undocked? Is what I'm seeing, um, and that's really interesting. And also just a side note, uh, the Switch One is about a quarter of powerful as the Switch Two. So we're approaching
Oh, so
like
it's like four times
yeah. So
as
with the
powerful.
with it docked, are we reaching like PS5 level performance? And could we play really this generation of games now on a Switch platform?
My thoughts is that I doubt that it'll be PS5 level. But like Switch wasn't PS4 level though. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's way down there.
so it's like that's all I am like on that's really all I need out of my Switch is to be PS4 capable. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if I can get you to PS4 level, if I can get you to play a game like Spider-Man, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's all I need out of you, Switch. Like all I need is for it to be like the level of like you can play like Spider-Man, like the one like Marvel Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man from PlayStation 4, you know what I mean? Like that one specifically, like if you can play something like that, then I don't care. Then Xenoblade will look as awesome as it needs to and will run as awesome as it needs. Breath of the Wild will look as awesome as it needs to and it will run as awesome as it needs to. Like freaking my Pokemon games that I want, you know what I mean? They'll run as awesome as they need to. They'll look as awesome as they need to. Like that is what I was lacking for my Switch. Like I don't go to Switch for fidelity. You know what I mean? It'd
Right.
be cool if it was there. I just need it to run well, and I need them to be able to execute like the vision that they are looking for. You know what I mean? I want the game to run well and to match the intention. You know what I mean? And that's what I began to lack from Switch as their games began to get greater, like sort of ambition. I felt like
Yeah.
towards the end of their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and René brought up a really good point. He said, "Oh, where do the cards go?" And I was looking, and they look to be about the same place. So to answer this question, to be Ken with Barbie in the situation, um, so the Switch uses a little SD card size thing. It's not an SD card, but it's the size of one that puts it in. That's a cartridge equivalent. But you can also download games for the console. And I did double check that you can play Switch One games on the Switch Two. So the mechanism would be the same, and the cards will be the same.
Will I
And
be
let
able
me
to play? will I be able to
Yeah.
play Reader Rewind or Shredder's Revenge on the Switch?
Yes. Yeah, because they have a Play Store where you can play Super Nintendo games and N64 games and regular Nintendo games and Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance games. And honestly, I would say about a third of my time playing Switch, I'm playing one of those like really old games. Um,
Okay, because I'm like I was talking to teacher about this. I'm like I've been going back on the PS5 store and I've been playing the old school like Street Fighter games and Nintendo games. I'm like I teacher rage. I'm like I wonder does Nintendo have something like that like old school games like Street of
yeah,
Rage
Yeah.
stuff like that or
yeah, they do. But they have this crazy licensing situation where it's only what they give you. It's up to Nintendo because it's their
oh
game. So, they keep adding to the library, but there have been games taken out of the library for whatever reason.
I've seen that
Um,
happen like on PlayStation
yeah,
side too. I'm like okay cool yeah.
yeah.
'Cause I was just wondering like I might right now I'm debating between the PS5 and that now, but I'm still
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely cool. And one of the coolest things ever happened with the it's NSO, the Nintendo Switch Online, like that's the service Tyler was alluding to over there earlier where you can play those old school games. It's kind of like like a subscription based service like but like they just put like a bunch of their old games on there. But like one of the coolest things that happened is that an unreleased game got released on there. That Star Fox 2 was never released and like they released it on that system like finished and then released it on there which is like so in like what 2021 or whatever year that was you know what I mean like a new freaking Super Nintendo game came out like and I thought that's pretty awesome um
Yeah, they like made a game for a console that hasn't been sold for 30 years.
Yeah, yeah. But one of the other things I wanted to say, like a hidden gem for this for me is I've been again big Pokemon fan here, big Pokemon CJ. You know, freaking I have been anxiously awaiting Pokemon Legends ZA, which was announced last January, I think, or maybe last February. And like announced and then like nothing, right? Like we're not even talking about this, like you know what I mean? And so I was just like just expecting this. I expect to hear more about it in February, like because that's like Pokemon Day and they usually do like a direct around then. I expect to hear more about it then, but what excites me is that since I hadn't been hearing anything about it, it is almost a shoo-in to be a launch Switch title, and I am super stoked about that because I loved one of the like I said earlier in this episode, like one of my least favorite things about the last couple of Pokemon was the performance of the machine, and so like oh my goodness, like if you give me like a competent running like version of what Pokemon Legends Arceus was, then like I am so stoked for that. Like I hope it's launched, but you know what I mean. You know, Pokemon also likes November months to release things, so you know maybe it'll just be launch window. But
Okay, so you bring me to my question. I guess I can ask this for Renee first. What game would you like to see come out for Switch 2?
like any game I want like whatever any game
Well, I mean, it has to be within like a Nintendo IP, but
okay.
yeah. But it can be a like a thing like you were talking about Ninja Turtles. Like, yeah, Nintendo games can make Ninja Turtle games, I guess. But you can't make like, a Halo game.
Like okay, cool. Like I guess rumors are rumored because I'm a big fan of this series. I don't know. Streets of Rage 5.
Oh yeah, that's a Nintendo IP.
Is
Yeah,
it really?
yeah.
well, it's a
Oh,
Sega IP, but
yeah.
Oh, but it's okay. So Nintendo didn't Nintendo buy Sega, or they like merged?
no, but
What happened with that?
Sega's third party. So basically, it's there's no realm of possibility where like if they came out with a Streets of Rage 5 that it wouldn't be on Nintendo. Like I'm pretty sure Streets of Rage 4 is on the Switch, you know what I mean? Like they have a Sega has a good relationship with Nintendo,
A
you know what I
really, really, really good relationship with Nintendo. You have
mean?
Sonic games coming out just for Nintendo now.
Oh, I want to see that. I want to see Sonic on a Super Smash Brothers game.
He is.
He
Yeah,
is.
Is he?
Yeah,
he
What?
is.
he is.
Yeah, he has been
When? When did this happen?
since
This is
GameCube.
yeah, yeah. He's been on the
Really?
he's been in Smash Brothers for a while.
Yeah, that's why I thought practically like they merged or something because the relationship's been so good. It's funny too because like the Genesis Super Nintendo rivalry was
Yeah, pretty
like
intense.
yeah intense.
There's a
Yeah,
documentary about it called Console
yeah,
War.
the console wars. Yeah, it's a great documentary.
It really is, yeah.
Um, so for me, the game I'd want to see as a new Star Fox game.
Oh
Is,
yes, too
yes,
long. It's been too
yes,
long.
yes, and one without the rail mechanic. One where
Okay.
like you actually do pilot more than just dodge the things coming at you.
Okay.
That's
So
what I hope for.
I remember in Star Fox 64 there were certain open levels,
Yes,
right?
those are the
Like where
best ones.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah, agreed, agreed. Okay, so that's what just was my like question, I guess. So you're talking about something that's like basically that like more
yeah,
or maybe something more like well like Star Wars like Rogue Squadron or something
yes, yes,
like yeah,
yes.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
hoping for.
I'm with that like because the thing about the Switch is they did a really good job at like reviving like a lot of dead Nintendo franchises or at least the things that we haven't seen in a while and bringing them back in like this new and fresh way, you know what I mean? Even like Pokemon like again like got some of the best versions of that like ever like obviously they do Mario every system, but I'm like trying to think of like there are other things that like Fire Emblem Three Houses like came back and like blew everybody's like mind about that franchise. Um, but basically what I'm like trying to get at is like we're due for some Metroid Dread did a lot for a lot of people like Breath of the Wild of course. Yes, like really like did a lot for reinvigorating that franchises, but like when I think about stuff like that, I think about like what I want to see come back and like definitely like what you mentioned, Star Fox. It's been too long. Like it's been too long since we got Star Fox back, you know what I mean? We have gotten Metroid announced, the Metroid Prime. The next one was announced, so I do wonder if that'll come this year or if it'll be like next year. Like it could be like this holiday game, Metroid Prime. But I would love to see a re there's a lot of stuff I'd love to see, okay? Like, but I would love to see. I'm geared to say something, but it's just like that. There's so many Nintendo franchises I want to see. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see a new like whatever the next Donkey Kong thing is. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude,
but
yes. Let's
yeah,
do
you
that
know what I
game.
mean? Like, I want to see whatever the next Donkey Kong.
Well,
Like, give me that. But what I'm trying to get at right now, I would love to see whatever like modern day take on like Punch Out would be. You know
oh,
what I
that'd
mean?
be
That would be
sick.
awesome.
Whatever modern
Oh,
day version of that you could give me, I would be all about that. Like
I'd have a condition though. I would need Jake Paul to be an opponent.
Jake Paul's punch out.
Yeah. No, but like
No,
classic. You
I don't
could
want to
play
watch
as
that.
classic Tyson to beat up
Oh,
like
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul.
It's gonna happen like happened in Netflix.
Nintendo
They're gonna be
version.
like,
Yeah, and hella people would stream it on Twitch. And
That'd be funny.
oh,
okay, well, this reaches. I guess we gotta land this plane. We gotta reach final thoughts here.
Yeah.
Once again, same order. Renee, what's your final thoughts, man?
I am excited. I'm gonna look forward to it. I might buy my first Nintendo system in a long time. It's been a minute. I think the last thing I bought was the Nintendo DS.
Wow, very
So,
cool. Oh,
so I think,
happy
yeah,
we've
like
invigorated your spirit for Nintendo.
I'm still a PlayStation whore, but
But listen, there's
but
still room for Nintendo.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they're two different purposes.
yes, exactly. Yes,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, final thoughts to me. Been too long. But it shows because like Switch has been super successful, and I think CJ was right when he said it's just time. The games have reached their ceiling. Let's release this. Hurry up and release this, so we can start getting to this next generation of Nintendo games. And I make that distinction because there's been this split. It's just like Xbox, PlayStation. PC gamers have gone one way and Nintendo gamers have gone another way. I don't think they'll ever rejoin forces because of the difference in gameplay and the path they've been on, but I think this will bring them closer together, and I think we'll see Nintendo potentially for like 5 straight years, maybe six, pull Michael Jordan, uh, sweeping the Game Awards, and that's my call. CJ, last thoughts, last words for you, sir.
Yeah, for sure. And like, man, like the like your last sentence there, it's just like, oh man, you might even be right because like they really, man, when they're firing on all cylinders, they're like the definition of like what a video game should be. You know what I mean? But final thoughts, like like what the happiest like announcement out of this, aside from that, like yes, finally it's coming or whatever, was like the backwards compatibility for me. When I bought my Switch, like I didn't feel like there was anything that I had interest to play on it. Actually, it was like here's your Switch, get Breath of the Wild because that's what you do, and like what else, right? You know what I mean? Like freaking so, I was just kind of playing the waiting game for a minute. So like the backwards compatibility like is such a godsend for me because like I was like I had actually knowing that the Switch 2 was imminent had kind of paused a lot of like my game buying on the Switch itself. So like this actually makes me feel more comfortable with like spending more money on like software on the Switch now. You know what I mean? Like because it's like, oh well, it'll carry over. So like I'm just banking it for later. And I do hope that there's some sort of we'll have to wait till April, but like I do hope that there's some sort of like a performance boost on like you know what I mean? Switch original titles. That would be, awesome. You know what I mean? Like, but if not, whatever. Like, but
Yeah, no
those
matter
are
what, you have the higher res screen and all that.
true, true. But yeah, that's pretty much like yeah, my thoughts on the matter, the last things I left unsaid, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait to see them really like blow us out, I guess, on April 2nd, you know what I mean? And see what it's talking about. I hope it comes out. Do you oh yeah, last question though. Do you have a hoped and I guess I'll answer it before I pass it to you though, but like do
Sure.
you have a hopeful release window and price point?
Oh, wow.
My hopeful release window, we're not gonna get release date till April 2nd. So it's not, to me, it's not feasible to like say, okay, this thing's on sale or like this thing's available for pre-order today, April 2nd, and not have it at least like 2 months from that out, right? Like at least 60 days from that out. So
Yeah.
like I'm thinking like June 15th, I'm thinking like $400.
Oh, that's generous. I was thinking definitely summer. June makes sense, but I was thinking it'd be at least 500 or 600 because of
You think like this.
how much they're putting into it.
How much is the Steam Deck? Do we know? Do you know? Let me look.
We're racing. Yeah, 500.
Steam Deck is 500.
But they have a 512. That's the cheap version, and then they have like a terabyte that's like 700.
Hmm.
Um, but
So
yeah,
you might be more right than me, but we'll see.
yeah. Renee, do you have a hopeful release date and a hopeful price, or I guess Price is Right? Ba-dum-bum-ba.
What was the last one for?
Price point. How much do you think it's going to
How,
cost?
how much was the last one?
Oh, the last one was $300.
Well, it is now. When it first came out, I think it was a little
I'm gonna
more.
say 350 to $400.
Okay.
And then game I want
Oh yeah.
Ninja Turtles arcade game.
Like, oh, okay, when you say that, because that exists on it. When you say that, because of the Play Store, but when you say that, do you mean like a HD recreation of it with like new graphics and
Port?
new
Yeah.
mechanics?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Like as much as I
Yeah.
love Shredder's Revenge, I'm like I want just a new Ninja Turtles game. With the OG character design, not the new ones. Not a fan of the
Okay.
new ones.
Yeah. Interesting. It'd be cool if that game could exist with like new skins where it's like I want these turtles or these turtles or these turtles or these turtles to play as.
Or you know what?
And
Here's
yeah.
something that doesn't exist yet, but the last Ronin game,
Oh,
Oh,
the
that'd be
movie,
sick.
isn't that has been announced though, hasn't it?
the movie though, yeah, the movie, but
No,
not
a game. No, a
a game.
game.
Really?
Been announced. Yeah, yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah.
I'm a bad Turtles fan.
Like, so it's probably like, years away from us seeing anything from it, but
It's
like,
Oh,
for
okay,
it's for PlayStation though.
the,
Like I might be a PlayStation
okay, then
exclusive.
okay.
it may
Let's just talk about the one we did for Frack the Cannon, Daredevil.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
do with that.
Dude, honestly, Daredevil would be super duper cool. And why doesn't that exist yet?
I'm
Right.
saying
Oh man, I just
it'll be on
imagine.
POV, so you just have to like fight people, but like it's also your silhouette. So they're a good guy or a bad guy. I can tell.
It's hilarious.
The POV, it's just a black screen.
Right. Just rumble back. Just why am I dying?
Oh, that brings us full
Why am I
circle for
always
today,
dying?
everyone.
Get good.
All right, everyone, we gotta end this episode here. Thanks for watching Frack the Console, everyone. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.